You can call us on 074 91 88 470 or visit donegalhearingclinic.ie. Life sounds brilliant with Donegal Hearing Clinic, Letterkenny and Buncrana.
Wild Atlantic Way adventures await you this spring with a midweek escape to the luxury Radisson Blu Hotel and Spa, Sligo, from just €120 with complimentary breakfast each morning. Indulge in afternoon tea overlooking Sligo Bay, unwind with a treatment at the spa, enjoy a delicious meal in the brasserie, sit back and relax in Waves Bar, or surround yourself with the best of Sligo's outdoor pursuits right on your doorstep. Book now at radsligo.com for the perfect spring midweek escape.
Join Homeland and Nutrius Animal Feeds for our Farming Future event at 8 p.m. in the Mount Erigal Hotel, Letterkenny on Tuesday, 7th of February. An informative evening highlighting essential schemes such as CAP 2023, forage advice and the 2022 Donegal Silage Competition results and presentations. Speakers will include representatives from Teagasc and Grassland Agro. Enjoy spot prizes, refreshments and meter suppliers on the evening. 8 p.m. 7th of February, Mount Erigal Hotel, Letterkenny. Looking forward to seeing you there. For more info, visit homeland.ie.
Gene Curran on Highland Radio.
And you're very welcome back. And the time here in Highland, 26 minutes past 9 o'clock. And as promised, in the studio with me today, I have Shaun Byrne and Mairead McMenamin from the Butt Drama Circle. And they're going to be talking about Shaun's new play, Darkness Echoing. Shaun and Mairead, you are very welcome.
Thank you, Jean.
Thank you, Jean.
Good to be here.
So it's hard to believe it's a year, Shaun, since we were talking, and you were just about to put an incident with Dave Cotter on stage.
I know, it flew in, didn't it? Yeah, Dave went down really, really well. Audiences seemed to really warm to it. Serious topic, Jean, Bloody Sunday, but we kind of approached it in a, I suppose, with a lot of dark humour that got the seriousness. It came across in a better way. It did really well. Now we took it out on the festival circuit, and it won 4 festivals. Got to the All Ireland, picked up a few awards along the way. Really happy with it. But yeah, like you say, a year's passed, flown in all right.
Fantastic. And I suppose the Donegal Hills are certainly alive with the sound of fingers tapping on keypads with all the new drama, because we had Edward Flanagan and the Rifford Players, and then of course Curran with his Jimmy's One Matches and the other plays that he wrote as well. And yourself now, you had Margaret, a one-woman play so long ago in the Balor with
Rachel O'Connor. Yeah, we had. Yeah. No, we were over in the Arts Centre in Ballyshannon for 2 nights, and we were in the Balor for 2 nights. Margaret was about Margaret Thatcher, a one-woman show. It's our 10-year anniversary now, so we're hoping to bring it back in April. We've been approached by a number of companies in the north to take it up on a mini tour there, so we're hoping to get that together. I've been talking to Trelock there in the council about trying to organise some funding for that, so hopefully that takes place. But it was a joy working with Rachel now, because she's a great actress as well, and it was a deep subject matter because it dealt with Alzheimer's and addiction as well, because that's how she ended up her life, Margaret Thatcher. But yeah, like you say, Kieran and Eddie as well. I think Eddie was in the Balor last night. I went to see Kieran's show there a few weeks ago with Louise Conahan. Louise is a cousin of mine, so it was great to see her. She was fantastic. I don't know if you got to see it yourself, Jean, but it was a powerhouse of a performance, and great directing as well from Paddy. I
saw it was fabulous.
A real team effort. Now it was a great show.
And Margaret and an incident with Dave Cotter, suppose you had historical facts there to base your play on. This, to me, Darkness Echoing, you're going off on a different road this time.
Yeah, it is a bit of a pivot. Yeah, I suppose the two of them were political in that sense, and you had a structure to stay inside. Whereas this is very much more of a personal story. It's a family story. It takes place a couple of years after the All Ireland final in 2012, which features in it a little bit. It's a connection that the father and the son have in the story. It's an unusual one. Plays can come to you in strange ways. This one came out of something. My son was saying to me, my son was 18 last night, and we were out for a few drinks and celebrated a meal with them. But when the kids were growing up, you go through that phase where you clear out their toys. And sometimes they just lie in the garage, and you're going to give them into charity. And one of the toys they had was a wind-up music toy. parents will know this, is you wind it up and it's like a little TV video goes round and round and round. And I used to play it in the garage all the time when I'd be tipping about, outside. And it was quite eerie after a while. And I know there was a local family lost a child, and I'm thinking, God, something like this would be heartbreaking. And it was from that I just imagined that this man was listening to this toy, having lost a child, and from that then the story just developed out, because the play is about a man who has failed to actually deal with that, and the emotional turmoil that has brought into his life, and he's facing another crisis, and he's had to deal with both of these now. So that's the basis of the play. And it is very much not like the other two in the sense that they were political and this is a family drama. But it is like the other two in the sense that all three are very, very serious, but we do approach them in a certain way, and there is humour used to sort of deflect and enhance certain things that happen in the plays. So it's not like it's going to be, heavy the whole way through. Like Cotter and like Margaret, you find yourself laughing probably where you shouldn't laugh,
That's what I was just going to say to you, because the title of the play, Darkness Echoing, sort of give me the idea of maybe sort of a dark play. But as you say, the last two plays, or I didn't see Margaret actually, but An Incident with Dave Cotter, there were some really, really humorous parts in it to lift us. So there's light and shade in this play as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the quote is from a Seamus Heaney poem, Personal Helicon, about setting the darkness echoing, trying to go back and recapture a feeling that you had, and this is what he's trying to do in the play. He's trying to set the darkness echoing and go back somewhere that's I suppose it's uncomfortable for him, but he needs to go to that place in order to find some kind of healing and closure,
And when you started, how long did it take you to do from beginning to end until the final product?
I tend to write quite quickly, and it was similar to the Cotter play in the sense that both plays were written to be performed as 2 one-acts before COVID, and then during COVID I decided that Cotter needed a second half because of what was happening politically with the court cases about Bloody Sunday that were in process. And it was during last year's show, it was Christopher Quinn said to me, well, why don't you have a look at the other play as well? Because it's hard to put a one-act play on, if you know what I mean. Very often it's easier to actually get an audience in for a longer play. So I decided to go and look at it again. So on both times, I do write quickly. So the first, when it was a one-act, it was probably written in about 3 or 4 days. And then when it became a 2-act, it was written again in about 3 or 4 days. So, but that sounds quite quickly, but that was quite fast. But that was over a period of maybe 2 years later when I went back to it. So I do tend to write quickly, but then it's the recrafting and the reshaping that I write quick, but I spend ages then sort of kind of putting a better format on it,
Well, I admire anybody who acts to start off with, but to write and act and to direct as well. So you acted and directed in Dave Cotter, and you're doing the same thing now. Is that a real challenge?
It is.
Shaun?
It can be, but it has gotten easier because I think this is the 3rd or 4th time I've done it. So the first couple of times were tricky. Cotter wasn't too bad in the sense you're trying to visualise it. There's only 2 people on the stage. It's harder when there's a lot of people on the stage. So I don't know how Eddie Flanagan's able to do it. I think he's got 8 of a cast. So to actually think where they're all going, you might have to bring in a video or something and just sort of shape it up. But it's tricky, but it's not too bad. Now I was lucky this time because JC, shout out to JC, he's setting up our get-in for today, so he couldn't make it. But there's lots of times where it's me and Mairead, or it's me and JC, or it's JC and Mairead. So when I'm not there, he's got eyes on it. Whenever Mairead's got eyes on it, and we've got a good team with us as well. We've got Brenda on the book, and she's able to give us, and Bernie, and they're able to give us tips as well too. And then somebody like Niall Cranny, who I always bring in to have a look at my shows. Niall comes in, and Niall just gives you a couple of invaluable things like, why don't you do that instead of that, and why don't you position yourself here instead of that. So it's these wee things that help shape the show at the end of it,
Fantastic. And Mairead, if you could just move just slightly to your left, so because I can see your face then on the screen, and I don't want to hit. You are a newcomer to the Buck Drama Circle, but not a newcomer to the stage.
No, not at all, Jean. No, I've been on the stage on and off over the years with Castlefin drama groups, and then working with my daughter Zara as well too on musicals. But no, I haven't made it to the Balor until now, and it's only up the road. So.
Well,
I'm glad to be there. Yeah.
And say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So we've had Zara Holmes in several times here with her shows. So as I said, she's obviously taken a lot from yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, busy house, all on stage.
So is it different now when you're working with the Butt Drama and taking a play on the circuit to what you were used to before, Mairead?
Most definitely. Like before, it would have been really a pastime for me, something I did after work and that I, thoroughly enjoyed. But now there is a more, I suppose, serious edge to it. It's a real learning curve for me, as I was talking to Shaun about this recently. There's things that I never would have noticed before that are important with regards to drama, and now I'm sort of more tuned into it, the whole tech area of lighting and sound, and that really didn't matter much to me. You just learn your lines and go on stage and perform. But there's so much more to it. Like, I always knew it was there, but you weren't as tuned in, and it didn't really matter as much, where now it does. And like, it's incredible work that people actually do, backstage, and to have a good team around, as Shaun said. Like, a shout out to them all. They've been fabulous, and they're such a necessary part of putting a production together, and you cannot underestimate what they do. So it's been a fabulous experience, yes, to see that. So yeah.
And I suppose every drama group need the, unsung heroes, if
absolutely.
you like, of backstage.
Yes, absolutely.
So you're playing the housekeeper, am I right in saying that?
I'm the carer, yes. I'm Marie. I'm the home help for the father, who is terminally ill, and I suppose the wayward son returns from London, and they're both at odds with one another. But I think somewhere Marie sees the vulnerabilities in both men, and she tries to maybe expose that so that they can reconcile. But she also has her own vulnerabilities that she has to face. She has her own story to tell. So it really is an unfolding of all three characters' stories throughout the course of the play, in different ways, in sometimes very gentle format, other times maybe more vigorous and more, aggressive, format. But it really is. It's a lovely story to see unfold, and how these characters do sort of open up to one another in their vulnerabilities and in their concerns.
They are all flawed, aren't they?
We're all flawed. Everyone has their story to tell and their issues to sort out. So yeah, it's actually a lovely story.
Mm-hmm. And Shaun, it's actually set in Balbuffet. When you said the little, and when you were writing it, were there people that you had in mind, or real people in the area, or people that you might have read about elsewhere?
Well, it's funny. He probably doesn't know this, but it's one of the group members is Jack Quinn, and it's set in Jack's house. It's nothing to do with Jack's family, but I needed a real place to set it in, so where they move around in and how the layout of the house is. And Jack just lives outside Balbuffet in a farmhouse, so that's the house. Interestingly, when JC, I never told JC this, but we had this talk about 2 weeks ago, and I told him this, and he goes, "No, it's not where it's set in my head. It's set in my granda's house, which is the other side of Balbuffet, up in the hills." So it is Balbuffet. I mean, there's places mentioned. There's Heaney's mentioned. There's Meehan's mentioned. There's Drumbo Woods is mentioned. I haven't ever done that before in a play, but when I was writing it, it just became natural that this is where he was going. This is what he needed to do. So it's very much anchored in the locality, in Balbuffet, and the language, and that sort of blend of, I don't know what you would call it, sort of Ulster Scots that we have around, that comes out in the writing and in the dialogue. So I wanted to play around a little bit with that as well,
Mm-hmm. And just from what you've been saying, I think that people who go to see it, they more than likely can relate to somebody they know or have heard of that had the same stories as the three characters. Yeah,
there are three people who people will, I hope, relate to. They're very relatable. You've got the Marie character who's separated and is angry at. She feels her life is somehow stagnated, and her ex-partner has moved on, and there's a frustration there. There's the father who hasn't really come to terms with. He's actually come to terms with his illness, but he hasn't really come to terms with how he has fallen out with his son and the relationship that he had with his wife at a certain period in his life, who has now passed on. And then there's the son, and who has his own issues with the loss of his own child, and his relationship with his father, and he's got his own personal issues as well. So each of them has, like I said earlier on there, each of them are flawed, and each of them need to heal, and they kind of bang up against each other before they find some sort of, space to talk. And it is a play that, even though it deals with quite dark themes, it's quite upbeat at the end, isn't it, Maria?
It
To
is.
talk about this.
It has quite a positive ending, I think.
It has.
Yeah, it's
out
quite
of you're thinking, oh my God, it does get quite dark and get quite serious. But I suppose it's about the human condition and the way we find space to heal. And it goes to some places that people will read to and will find sort of uncomfortable, but it also goes to places that hopefully people will get some sort of relief from themselves.
Solace, solace of some kind at the end,
Exactly,
and contentment.
And Marie, a big commitment to go on the circuit. Like you've been sure rehearsing since November, and hopefully it'll go on to April, May. So the first performances now are on Wednesday and Thursday. Am I right, in the Balor?
That's right. Yeah. So
And then we're out then, I think we've a couple of weeks, haven't we? And then we're in
end
Newton
of
Stewart.
February, we're in Newton Stewart. Yeah,
Strabane, was it Tubbercurry? We're going to 8 festivals, mostly around Ulster and
the northwest.
Tubbercurry, and we were going to Rush for one as well,
Rush,
because a lovely theatre in Rush. It's a little intimate theatre, there's 120 people. It always packs out. Some of these festivals are fantastic. They have the season ticket holders, and they just such a warm place to play. And we were in Rush last year, and we've said we're going to have to come back here again. It was really welcoming, so they were, and it was a really nice theatre.
So tickets on sale at the Balor box office for Wednesday and Thursday night of this week.
Right, yeah.
We really recommend it,
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out this morning, and every success with your play, Shaun. And if it's anything like last year, you'll go the whole way to the All Ireland. And I'm looking forward to seeing you with your debut.
Thank you.
With the Balor Mairead on Wednesday or Thursday night. And the best of luck to
Thank you very much, Jean. Thank you.
Cheers, Jean.